Joining me today is our Clifton's No Frills community champ, Roberta Derosier. Now, Roberta, the list of things that you're involved with is huge, and the list of things you're not involved with is pretty tiny in comparison. It's great that we have someone like you here in the Southeast that is passionate, and I've got to imagine at some point you realized how important it was to give back to the community.
Oh, for sure. I've always believed that a community can't operate without volunteers. It just is really what keeps us all going.
Well, I'm glad we're going to get this opportunity to find out a little bit of what you do here in the Southeast and why you love it. And I'm just glad that you could join us here this morning.
I definitely want to thank you for this opportunity because I've always been very passionate about my community and volunteering. And honestly, it's a bit selfish because I gain more sometimes than I give because you come home feeling good and that the fact that you're able to help somebody else, you're going to benefit.
I'd have to imagine over the years, you've probably had like quite a few highlights with the work you have done.
It's honestly the smaller things that stick with you, though. It's being able, one of the areas that I volunteer with is victim services, and sometimes it's the smallest thing that you can do for somebody when they're at their absolute lowest, like somebody who's just lost a family member, and it could be just sitting with them, just holding their hand, and it's those small things that really carry with me forever.
So you probably have quite a few of those moments when you're in the community just trying to do as much as you possibly can.
For sure. Some experiences, obviously, you're going hard and it's you come home exhausted. And then, like I say, other ones, it's more laid back and it's just a matter of being there.
And you got to think, like, you have so many opportunities here in the Southeast to actually give back to the community. It's always just amazing when you think about the just amount of people we have here in the Southeast that are championing for a better community.
We truly are a unique community here. I've always loved Estevan. I moved away for about 10 years and came back, and it was just kind of full steam ahead then. We really are unique, and one example is our United Way telethon here. We all know that Estevan's had some hard times, and it's not a great economy, and still we are getting more and more donations every year for United Way, and it truly speaks to the people in this community.
I got to imagine, too, with all the planning and preparation that goes into that, the payoff when whatever the goal is at the year, to actually see it all go through and to see, I'm sure throughout the year, they really hear back from all the agencies that benefit from there.
Oh, yeah. One of the best experiences is actually going and spending time in those member agencies so you can see that what all that work did. And honestly, I don't know that there's ever been a year where there hasn't been more than 1 or 2 or 10,000 tears shed when we do hit that goal. It's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, it's really neat when you get to be a part of it.
Yeah.
I don't think people really do realize how many rewards there are to giving back to the community.
Oh, you just can't even describe how it feels at the end of the day to go home and know that you not only helped Estevan, but that person that you made a difference in their life or that group. It really is incredible.
It's also really neat to see when the work you do inspires maybe your family or other people to also get involved.
For sure. Actually, that's kind of how I got started in volunteering in Estevan, was when my kids were young, volunteering for their events and their sports and whatever. And it wasn't long before they were right by my side at different things. Family and Friends is a group I'm involved with, and they were coming along and volunteering there. 2 of my kids were on the United Way board with me and just different things like that. So it's really cool to see the different generations. And at different points, I've had 3 generations of my family, my parents as well as myself, and my kids helping out at events. So it really feels good.
Yeah, that's got to be so satisfying knowing that you instilled the want to give back to the community. And you know what? You really think about, that's probably how a lot of people get started, is with their kids. You just start out with, hey, we have this like bottle drive or this or that. It's one thing after another, and then you really start to get to know the fellow parents and people's situation, and then you really want to put yourself out there more.
That's exactly it. I've had people before ask me when they move here, what are the needs? Well, it's you go out your front door. There's needs all over, and yeah, we kind of naturally get involved with our kids when they're young, and we get in their activities and stuff. But for those who move here without kids and they don't know where to start, it's right out your front door. There are people there's seniors in the community that just need somebody to visit with them. There's all kinds of needs in our community that really are easy to do.
Hopefully over the last hour, we've been able to give some recognition to you as well as your $100 gift card, and also maybe inspire some other folks to get involved in the community. But before we let you go, I'm sure you have a lot going on right now and probably something that's really getting you excited.
Yeah, actually, there's a lot of different things right now. A good example, tonight there's a meeting for the Exhibition Association, and they're planning something really big and different for this year, so that's good. Probably the thing that really makes me go to bed feeling good about myself right now, though, is my involvement with Victim Services. It's a really, really good organization. We provide assistance and support to people who are victims of crimes or sudden death, that sort of thing. And I strongly encourage anyone. That's the thing that really, really sparks my passion. But everybody has their own thing. Mm-hmm. Just figure out what you're passionate about. Go to that place and say, how can I help out? Because there are many needs, and sometimes they don't even know that they have a need until you go there. You have a passion, you start making a relationship with them and a partnership, and there's areas to help out.
Do you know of any places that are maybe desperately looking for help right now?
Yeah, all over, of course. Probably Red Cross would be one of my biggest right now that I'm trying to recruit some people to help out with. It's always good. We all know that a disaster could be around the corner at any time, and we're going to need people who are trained and ready to help when it does happen.
So that would just be like first aid services and first responder services then?
Well, what we do is personal disasters, a house fire, that sort of thing. Oh, yeah. We support the family, but also larger scale disasters, like when we had the floods here and we needed to evacuate people. So we would be trained to set up those evacuation centers and reception centers and provide support there.
Well, we're lucky to have you here in the Southeast, and I'm so glad that we can have you in here on the radio here this morning. And if anybody is out there, even if you just have a little bit of time, just get started. That's all it takes, even just a little bit. Even if you don't have a whole lot of time, just a little bit can make a huge difference in a lot of people's lives.
It really does, and it makes a difference in your own life. It really makes you feel good. Like you said, it doesn't take much. There's a neighbor down the street that maybe needs their walk shoveled or their groceries or whatever. It could be just a visit. It doesn't have to be big, but little things make a big difference.
Roberta, thank you so much for joining us here on the show today.
Thank you for having me, and thank you to Clifton's No Frills for this opportunity.